Happy Thursday, folks. Today is Thursday. It's the 7th of April. It's sunny and 50 degrees here in Nashville, Tennessee. How's the weather where you are? I sound like a meteorologist. Anyway, this is the 69th episode of season 3 of the Be Your Own Hero show. HERO is an acronym. It means helping everyone reaps optimism. In other words, helping others helps you. It's a reciprocal action. I'm your host. I'm sekouwrites. I'm an author, journalist, jewelry maker. I'm laughing because last night someone asked me, well, so what do you do exactly? But I'll get to that in a minute. I do a lot of different things. I'm also the creator of the HERO, the HERO Ministry Movement, which is my effort to uplift and inspire people in general, and specifically the unhoused community. So join me here Monday through Friday, 9:45 a.m. Eastern, 8:45 a.m. Central, and you'll hear me talking about my journey of being my own hero, but mostly becoming my own financial hero. As dictated by you, the viewing public. You have created this show of financial literacy because that's not how it started. Anyway, shout out to New Thought Media Network for allowing me this platform to talk about my journey of becoming my own financial hero. If this show feeds you, please like, comment, and share. And quick disclaimer, I'm not a personal trainer nor am I a financial advisor, so take what I say with a grain of salt. In other words, do your own due diligence, do your own studying. Don't just rely on me and what I'm saying to get you to the financial promised land. All right, so all that said, let's jump into some HERO Ministry Movement news. So today is day 311. That means I've been running every day, at least a mile a day for now 311 days. That's my run streak. And do I have a run story today? Not really. I mean, there's always a little bit of run story, but the run report is posted. No real revelations. I mean, there's always a little something, but no huge revelations today. You just gotta do it. You just gotta do it. And that is probably the biggest theme of my run streak. You just gotta do it. You just gotta push through. Because I didn't particularly feel like doing it today. And honestly, there are very few days that I feel like doing it. Yesterday, I felt like doing it. It was a milestone day, 310. I felt good about that. Day 300, I definitely felt like doing it because day 300, huge milestone for me. But most days, I don't feel like it. Most days, I do not want to do it. And today was one of those days. So anyway, the run report is live on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. So check out the run report. Okay, so moving on. Oh, I see some people checking into the chat. Shout out to Tim. He says it's sunny in Ohio. That's what's up. Shout out to Dan. Oh, I did get I got a notification that you shared something with me. So I checked that out today. Sorry for the sidebar, folks. Dan and I are working on a project. What's up, Diego? Good to see you. So what was I saying? I was talking about the run streak. The run report is up. Go check it out. I won't play it today. Okay. So envelope challenge. Let's jump right into that. Let's jump right into the envelope challenge. Where's my dice? Yes, I know it's die, but dice sounds better. So this is now the dice roll challenge. I've renamed it the dice roll challenge because that's how we're playing the game. Here we go. I'm about to roll the dice and explain. All right, today's number is 3. Today's number is 3. What you're going to do is you're going to transfer $3 from your checking account to your savings account, to your shiny new savings account that's earmarked for investing. And you're going to do this every day. We're going to roll the dice every day, every weekday. And I hope you're going to do it on your own on Saturday and Sunday. Now, the reason I say that is because if you've been following the show, you know that Reverend Melissa and I both just cashed out our dice roll challenge money. And there was a pretty significant discrepancy between how much she was able to save and how much I was able to save. I was able to save $600 and she was able to save $1,000. And the difference was just that she was doing it on Saturday and Sunday too, and I wasn't. So I will definitely be doing it on Saturday and Sunday too from now on. So, you know what I'll do? I'll roll the dice and on Saturday and Sunday, in case you don't want to go find dice of your own. I'll roll the dice on Saturday and Sunday, and I'll post the number in the Doing Tribe group on Facebook. All right. All right. I'm making that commitment. I'll roll the dice on Saturday, Sunday, and I'll post the number. Anyway, 7 days a week, take the number and invest that amount. Well, okay. You can stair step it. Take the money out of your checking, put it into your savings, and stack it until you get to a certain amount. So for me, I think I'm going to keep my amount at 600. I cashed out at 600 last time. I'm going to keep my amount at 600. That came up really fast. It came really fast. And as I just said for Reverend Melissa, $1,000 came up really fast. So use the money to accumulate it to invest specifically. All right. So if you're not investing and you're saying, I don't have enough money to invest, this is for you. This is for you. This is an easy, fun way to create investment resources. So if you're not doing it, you should ask yourself, why aren't you doing it? Why aren't you doing it? Okay. So today's number is 3. Transfer that money. I'm going to do it for myself right after the show. Okay. Moving on to Morning Zen. So this really dovetails with Yes Day. Yes Day was designated by Reverend Melissa as yesterday, April 6th, the 2-year anniversary of her show, Sit with Reverend Melissa. And I participated in Yes Day, so I've got a little bit of a report about that I'll give later. But for now, just know that I did it and it tied into my Morning Zen. All right? So I'm going to skip ahead and then we'll come back to how my Yes Day tied into my Morning Zen. Okay, so let's jump into abundance. Let's jump into abundance. And we got another person checking in from Colorado. Appreciate it. Mountain time. That's very cool. What's the weather like in Colorado right now? Oh, wait. This actually ties into last night also. There were people that I interacted with last night that were from Denver. Yeah, Denver, Colorado. Yeah, isn't that interesting? I didn't even make that connection. Posted to transfer investment capital. Oh, so I think you're asking about where I will post the number. So there is a Facebook group I have called the Doing Tribe. Doing, like the shirt says, doing. The Doing Tribe. So if you just send me a DM, I'll just add you to the group. You have to be invited because it's set up as a private group. So send me a DM. I'll send you an invitation and you can check it out. And shout out to Margaretta for checking in. I appreciate it. Okay, so Colorado. That's so funny. I didn't make that connection last night that I was hanging out with people from Colorado last night. Okay, so let's do the affirmation and we're going to circle back to last night. All right, so we're going to do it twice. The first time is for the words. The second time is for the inflections because you got to really feel it. So here we go. Here's the first time. I am so happy and grateful to be a multimillionaire in every area of my life. And here we go. We're going to do it again, but we're going to do it with feeling because all the thought leaders that talk about affirmations say that affirmations must be incantations to work. In other words, you have to emote, you have to feel them, you have to visualize the feelings that you're saying. So this particular affirmation has 2 feelings built in. That's why I selected it. You've got happy and you've got grateful. So on happy, you want to feel happy. On grateful, you want to feel grateful. And you want to embody this affirmation so that it can sink down into your subconscious. Okay, so that with all that preamble, here we go. I am so happy and grateful to be a multi-millionaire in every area of my life. All right, that's right. Feel it. Get it in your bones. And here's my reminder. If you only spend, you'll stay poor. If you only save, you'll stay middle class. If you want to be wealthy, you must invest. It's not optional. It's not optional. And that is news to me because I always thought of investing as optional. It is not optional. All right, so let's get into it. Let's talk about Yes Day. So again, yesterday was designated by Rev. Melissa as yesterday. And I didn't think I was going to have an eventful yesterday. I decided to say yes to something that I was kind of on the fence about. I decided to say yes to running the Nashville Half Marathon. Now, for those of you who are have been watching the show, you're probably like, why were you on the fence about that? I don't really know. I started training with the half marathon group because I thought, when would I get another opportunity to be a part of half marathon training? So I took advantage of the opportunity because the opportunity was there, but I had no real intention of running a race. So over the course of time, it became clear to me that most of the people I'm training with are training specifically for the Nashville half marathon and marathon. And still I was like, I'm just going to get the training. But, as you know, if you've been watching the show, I realized just this week that it's been less than a year since my very first race, which still blows my mind. It's been less than a year. My very first race was a 5K called the Hammer Down 5K, which is that blue cup right there. And that was May 15th of last year. And in the intervening time, I've amassed all these medals, plus more. There's more medals at my house in New York. So all these medals, all these races have accumulated. And so my thought was, I'm going to run the Hammer Down race again to see how I've progressed in that race. But when I looked it up, I found out it was this past Saturday. Just this past Saturday. I literally just missed it. So anyway, that prompted me somehow to bite the bullet and sign up for the Nashville Half Marathon, which I did yesterday on Yes Day. And I'm glad it was yesterday. I'm glad I had that in the back of my mind because I kept thinking, maybe I'll let this go because there's all these hidden fees, and the sign-up process was much more complicated than any of these races. And so there were a couple of times where I was like, but I persevered because it was yesterday. So that was, I thought that would be the extent of my yes giving for yesterday. And then a friend of mine popped in town from Denver, Colorado, full circle. And she said she was in town and for a conference and to come hang out. And my impulse was, I'm just going to stay home and work and do the things that I typically do, stay in my little bubble. I've got some work things that I wanted to make some headway on, but I remember that it was yesterday. Actually, that's not even true. I remember that it was yesterday on my way there. I didn't remember at first, but I remembered on my way there, this is yesterday, and just, commit to it. Because when I got there, I couldn't find parking, and I was like, So I persevered, right? So I hung out with her and her group. It was a writing fellowship group, which I didn't know that until I got there. But it was cool. I got to interact with a bunch of different folks and talk about a bunch of different fellowship opportunities, etc. Now, the reason this ties in with my morning Zen is because, as you know, if you've been watching the show regularly, I've been reading the 7-Day Mental Diet again. And I found myself having to use the techniques of the 7-Day Mental Diet last night. Because generally speaking, people aren't aware of how negative they are, generally. And because I've raised my awareness generally, and also specifically, I'm reading the 7-Day Mental Diet this week, I was hyper aware of other people's negativity. So I had to employ several of the 7-Day Mental Diet techniques last night. So one of them, you'll remember, is choosing the feeling tone of cheerful over fearful, and just having two choices. If you're not cheerful, you're somewhere in the realm of fearful, even though you might not actually be fearful of something. Just separating that, bisecting it into just two categories has been helpful to me. So am I cheerful? No, then let's get to cheerful. So I kept reaching for cheerful last night, reminding myself to reach for cheerful. And also, there's a technique that's talked about in the 7-Day Mental Diet in terms of stopping negative thoughts, like literally picturing a stop sign in your head, big red stop sign when you're having a negative thought. Well, I did something similar. I actually pictured big shields when other people were talking about negative things. And it happened a lot. People just, when they're chit-chatting, they just slip into negative things. And so-and-so died, and so-and-so was paralyzed, and someone was concerned about the chair that I was sitting in and literally said to me, "Oh, I thought you were about to snap your neck in that chair." Like, just people, generally speaking, aren't aware of how much negativity they put out into the world. And so because I was hyper aware of it, I kept imagining a shield like blocking this negativity. And I never said anything to anybody. I never pushed back and said, "Hey, I'm doing a 7-day mental diet. Let's all be aware of our negativity." And I did it differently. I just worked on it internally. Like, let me block these shields. Let me be aware of each of the negative things that people are saying, and cancel them out, and visualize this shield and blocking and redirecting. So that became like a frequent practice last night because it just happened often. And so that brought me back to choosing cheerful versus fearful, because after that happened a few times, I was feeling kind of low, and I had to keep reaching for cheerfulness. So that's how my morning Zen this week came together with my Yes Day challenge of yesterday. And even after it was all over, as I was leaving, I was kind of feeling a little low. Even though I had some really cool experiences and some really cool conversations, I was feeling a little low about the negativity and also the loss of work time, because last night I would have typically been working. And so again, even in the car ride back, I was like, reach for cheerful, reach for cheerful, reach for cheerful. Okay, so that was kind of my Yes Day and morning Zen experience. Okay, so circling back to a couple things that I wanted to talk about earlier this week and then get back to. Financial literacy, I've been talking about 3 different guys recently. I've been talking about Wall Street Trapper, Shaq, and Anthony O'Neill. And what these 3 men have in common is the fact that they all contribute significantly to their investment accounts. So to be specific, Wall Street Trapper invests 50% of all of his income. 50%, he cuts it in half. 50% of all of his income goes into specifically the stock market for him, but is invested. Shaq invests 75% of everything he gets. Anthony O'Neill invests 90% of everything he gets. Now, those numbers are going up and up, right? And they're pretty big numbers, 50%, 75%, and 90%, right? But the thing that all 3 men have in common is they are multimillionaires. They are multimillionaires. And I'm in the headset now of paying attention to the things that multimillionaires do. Multimillionaires have at least seven different streams of income, and they invest first. They invest first. Matter of fact, Wall Street Trapper, I was listening to an interview with him on my run this morning, and he was saying that the wealthy people he knows invest first, off the top. They invest first, then they save, and then they figure out what to do about bills, etc. So it's a mindset shift, and I am attempting to make that mindset shift. So I did my own experiment earlier this week. So on Tuesday, I got a payment from DoorDash. I still do DoorDash. And I got a payment from DoorDash, and I invested 80% of that paycheck into the stock market. 80% kept 20%. And I was more easily able to do that because I've been studying Wall Street Trapper, Shaquille O'Neal, and Anthony O'Neill. That's interesting. I didn't realize that. They're not related, but I just didn't realize they had the same last name. Anyway, so it was easier to make that investment because I know that these men are doing that, and I know that they are multimillionaires. And so the definition of insanity is doing the same thing and expecting different results, which brings us all the way back to my story from last week. So my story from last week is I was telling folks, you included out there in New Thought Media Network land, that there's been an announcement that Amazon stock is splitting and Tesla stock is splitting, right? And so I was saying that I was going to get in on both of those. And separately, I had 3 different people reach out to me off the show to ask me about it. And with all 3 people, I said, yeah, I would do it. I would get in on either one of those or both if you can. And all 3 of them did it. And I didn't. I spent my dice roll challenge money on zeroing out a credit card. And I was like, why did I do that? Like all 3 of the people who I made this suggestion to invested, and I did not invest. So that threw me for a loop. And I did some self-analysis. And ultimately, where I landed is that I've got some unresolved issues around debt, right? Like I know for a fact that I have zeroed out credit cards before in my life. And I know for a fact it has not changed my financial life. So doing that same thing and expecting a different result this time is the definition of insanity. I need to be doing something different. So I've made several small tweaks to my own makeup to make sure that that doesn't happen again. Yes, I'm going to continue to study debt and figure out how to use it to my advantage. But in the meantime, I want to make sure that I'm doing things different. And so what I did with DoorDash was one of those things, investing 80% right off the top. It's already invested, right? And I invested in Amazon and Tesla. So yeah, so 80% went immediately into Amazon and Tesla, right? One of the other things I did is I created another bucket, another savings account with my bank of record. It was easy. It took less than 5 minutes. I created another savings account, and this will be more specifically my dice roll challenge money. Because before I was commingling it with a different account, and I think that might have thrown me off too. So now we've got a pristine, brand new savings account specifically for the dice roll challenge. So that's another shift that I made. And also, here's the big one. I consulted with an abundance coach. Can you believe that there are abundance coaches? There's coaches for everything. But I did a one-off session with an abundance coach, specifically for the stock market, by the way. And I might do that again. And he gave me a riddle that I want to share with you. And you see if you get it. I'm going to admit right off the top, I didn't get it. I did not get the answer, but I'm going to share it with you. So get ready to type something in the chat. Here's the riddle. So you're at a busy intersection, right? And you have to cross the street, but all the cars are invisible. How do you cross the street? So drop that in the chat. I'm going to talk about some other things and come back after some people put some notes in, put some thoughts in. So the other thing that I want to talk about while you're doing that is yesterday I went through a few of my FFTs. FFT is an acronym created by Brene Brown. She's a thought leader, and it means freaking first time. Of course, the first F that she uses is a little more vulgar, but let's just call it freaking first time. And I emphasized yesterday the importance of taking FFTs and then continuing to say yes to them, because it's relatively easy to take a first step. Like, let's think about like New Year's resolutions, right? Oh, I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm gonna start a new diet. Right. It's relatively easy to start, but how many people are able to continue? Now, I know this from when I was in the gym regularly. I would see this huge influx of people in January, right? January, first week of January, packed. Gym is packed. By the end of January, not so much. By the end of February, I'd say about half of them are gone. By March, gym's back to normal, right? So it's relatively easy to start, but it's very difficult to continue. That's my alarm telling me to wrap it up. But it's relatively difficult to continue. So take your FFT in whatever it is you want to learn or do or grow in. But remember that it's the consistency, it's the continuing to show up that's going to make all the difference. And I can speak to that in so many different ways from my run streak. My FFT for my run streak was June 1st, 2021. I didn't think I would be able to run every day for 30 days. And now I'm on 311. Like, the consistency makes all the difference. And here's physical evidence of how I've grown over that time. So anyway, let me check the chat and see if anybody answered the riddle. Let's see how we're doing. Gladys said, wait for the light to change. That's funny. Okay, here's another one. Cross an overpass or underpass or in a hovercraft. Yeah, see, that's good. That's good. That's good. All right, so basically the answer is think outside the box as you're doing, Facebook user, as you're doing. Think outside the box. It's any number of answers. You could listen for the cars instead of using your sight. You could, use a hovercraft to go over the cars. Like the idea is to break yourself out of your mental box and to recognize that you automatically put yourself in mental boxes all the time. So I kind of tapped out. I was like, I don't really know. And then he gave me some possibilities. Like, you could listen. Yeah, you could go over. Yeah, you could go under. So you did much better than I did, Facebook user. You did much better than I did. But the point is to really be aware of all the different ways in times that we put ourselves in boxes, especially as it pertains to finance. Because as it pertains to finance and wealth and abundance, we're generally parroting the beliefs that we ingested about money in the first 7 years of our life, that we absorbed from the world around us. And so it's kind of unpacking those ideas, those thoughts, and shifting them and moving in a different direction. So I invite all of you to try to become more aware of how you think about money. What are the phrases that you use in terms of money? Are you still saying money doesn't grow on trees? Are you still saying money is the root of all evil? What are your thoughts and beliefs about money? And going back to the 7-day mental diet, if you fill in the blank with this at the end of the sentence, what will you fill it in with? If you fill in the blank with money is blank, what's the word or phrase that immediately comes to mind, that immediately pops up? Is that phrase positive or negative? Is that word positive or negative? Because that's really getting at how you feel and think about money and about abundance. Okay, so I think that's everything I wanted to cover. This is another celebration day for Sip with Rev Melissa. We did yesterday. Hopefully all of you did yesterday for yourselves yesterday. And today we're going to hear from some of the people that said yes yesterday and how it went. You just heard how it went for me. We're going to do that at 10:30 on the Sip with Rev Melissa show. So tune into that. Tune in to prayer time coming right up at 10:15 on New Thought Media Network. And tune back in tomorrow for the Be Your Own Hero show, where I'll continue to talk about stock market and investing and shifting your mindset about wealth and abundance. So until then, keep doing, be a hero, be your own financial hero. That's tough. That's tough. It requires willpower. And remember that now is better than perfect in terms of investing. So I'll see you here tomorrow. Later.